Ladies and gentlemen, several clarifications before I move on to my points of substantive, right? Number one, my prime minister told you in regards of white superiority, right? My extension would be that this white superiority exists because in the past because it can be seen in the past that they are willing to discriminate other races simply because they think that the other races, due to their color, is lower than them at the end of the day, right? Then most likely when they're able to make a black their slave, then when they're able to adjudicate and discriminate the Indian people within their own original country at the end of the day, this shows to you that their tendency exists, and we as the parent should not go with their race at the end of the day, right? Because most likely what will happen to these black people when they are being discriminated will also happen to us. We do not want this kind of world for us and also for our children at the end of the day, right? This is the goal that we, just as the opening government, are going to propose to you. Now, I have 3 points of substantive. Number one, why it will be better for you in the short term. Second, why it will protect you in the long run. Third, why cultural identity is within the interest of the parents at the end of the day, right? Number one, why it will protect you in the short term at the end of the day, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we must understand that the current racism that exists within the United States of America is completely impressive, right? Completely impressive in a negative manner. When you, regardless of whatever color that you are, if you are not white, most likely you are going to be discriminated, right? Why is that so? Well, I'm going to give you a depiction of what kind of racism that is currently and in the past was faced by the people of color, right? You are told, ladies and gentlemen, that every single human being possesses an equal right. But, ladies and gentlemen, that, for example, right to health is equal, right to access education is equal, right? And this right should be protected by the government at the end of the day, right? But the reality, ladies and gentlemen, is not as kind as what the depictions that I mentioned to you, right? Because most likely, the reality are going to harm you. The reality is not it's not as ideal as what you think at the end of the day, right? Because you will still being discriminated simply because you have a different colors than the other people at the end of the day, right? Let's take an example, right? When you're black, for example, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be segregated by the government, right? This is why the structural oppression, structural racism within the America is completely enrooted because they have been segregating these black people into a whole different district at the end of the day, right? They are not given the chance to actually integrate at the end of the day, right? But even if they do integrate, most likely it will not be beneficial to them. Why? Second, when you want to enjoy, for example, your rights, when you want to enjoy healthcare, when you want to enjoy education at the end of the day, most likely, ladies and gentlemen, that you still are going to be discriminated, right? So even if you're going to integrate within the society, you will still be discriminated at the end of the day, right? This is why, ladies and gentlemen, there exists many colored people are being turned away from the hospital because simply that their skin is colored at the end of the day, right? That their skin is not white at the end of the day. This is why there exists a numerous amount of story where black people, even after they have crashed into a car accidents and they have been undergoing a surgery, the doctor that was responsible for these black people are suddenly shifted into taking care of a white people that has minor a concussion at the end of the day, right? This is the discrimination that exists within America, and we do not want us and our children to continue to exist within this kind of environment. We need change and we need security in the present, right? This is why the present matters is also important at the end of the day, right? Why in our set of the house it will protect you? Number one, it will ensure that you will enjoy the facilities that was provided by this ethnic enclave at the end of the day, right? Let's take a comparative. When you're going, ladies and gentlemen, with a scattered community where you only live one people in the Ohio, one people in Los Angeles, what's most likely to happen that you will still receive this racism at the end of the day, right? But in our side of the house, most likely you will enjoy equal access to healthcare at the end of the day. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, when this hospital and facilities were built by the other colored people, this was also a facilities that was established only to those colored people at the end of the day, right? It will provide you with a better healthcare than those public facilities that will, ladies and gentlemen, most likely discriminate you simply because of your race, right? Second, it will present you with a sense of security within your own community, right? Because, ladies and gentlemen, most likely your own kind that suffered the same hardship as you will not abandon you in a foreign country at at the end of the day, right? This is why, ladies and gentlemen, even in the present status quo, where Indonesians are going to go to Netherlands because they want to seek education, they want to seek job, they want to seek a better life at the end of the day, they will still be protected by the PPI themselves, Persatuan Pelajar Indonesia, right? Because they understand that we as a minority need to group together to protect each other, right? Because if we do not protect each other, no one will does it at the end of the day. This is what we stand in the opening government, right? Now, in our side of the house, it will be better. Now, in terms of the long run, why in the long run will be better, right? We do not want to live in a country that will always discriminate us. Therefore, a change is needed, right? This is why change will be integrated and will be apprehended in our side of the house, not their side of the house, right? Ladies and gentlemen, let's contextualize my second point, substantive, right? When you're being united within this particular ethnic clave, what's most likely to happen is that most likely that you're going to be able to understand the common cause of this particular community at the end of the day, right? You'll be able to stand for one common goal that will not be segregated by other interests at the end of the day, right? When you're facing discriminations, one people facing discriminations, and this one particular people told the other community, what's most likely to happen is that the community are going to understand the hardship that they have felt. They will feel the same urgency as these people do, right? But in their side of the house, this agenda will not happen. Why? Because now they are being scattered, and when you're scattered with no protection from your own community and without protection of your own kind, what's most likely to happen is that first, you're going to simply give up to the structural oppressions that exist within the status quo, right? Because now you do not see why should I fight for a better rights for myself when there's probably no one will help me at the end of the day, right? But these illusions will be denied by our community, right? Because now, in this case, they will be giving up because they are scattered, because they feel that there is no protection. But in our side of the house, they will be united. And when they are united, this is the most important thing, because now you will be able to establish a movement, ladies and gentlemen, a movement to change your fate, to ensure that these politicians above you will still to take a look at how does you look like, how does your interest will look like, right? Because now your agenda is common, and it will be heard because it is a majority in the community at the end of the day, and therefore politicians will take care of you. This is why we are for to propose.